13th edition of Paleocrat Diaries, and we're about to begin.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please walk my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands, and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no challenge for champions and chain no fear. Yeah, the champions here.
All right. Woo! Super excited. Thank you very much for that amazing introduction. I know all of you are clapping at home. In fact, that's what that sound was. That sound was everybody clapping at home, and we can hear it all the way over here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. You are watching right now Paleocrat Diaries. I'm your host, Jeremiah Bannister. We have an awesome show for you, but we're gonna keep it trim, right? Trim and slim. It's what we're aiming for too. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're gonna talk a little bit about the crazy. It seems like the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and it's even crazier. We know it's hell because it's the worst possible thing in the world, and it's being described by the enemies of truth and goodness and beauty as, you know, the greatness, the great reset, the great reset. That's what it's all about. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, not only kind of what's going on and what to expect, but more importantly, or just as importantly, let's stick with more. It's more important that you know what to do, that you know how you have to react to this, okay, and how you can prepare, what you ought to be doing. And some of these things are stuff that we should have been doing a long time ago, right? A long, long time ago. In fact, all along. We should have never walked away from many of these things. We're going to talk about that. We're going to have a couple funny stories. I think we got maybe 3 or 4, and we've got a 10-minute promo that we're going to show from the video that I made last night. It got posted really late, and I'm sorry about that. Got posted really, really, really late. I think it was like midnight. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we but the thing is we're making these post-show Q&A super shows. That's what we're calling them. I got to memorize this thing, man. The post-show Q&A super show. I got to say it like that or else I forget, right? And so the thing is that I've been doing this the last couple nights, and what it is instead of going through tons of comments and returning to it 3 times, you know, that's kind of the pattern we've been doing, introducing it in the beginning, cutting to it after the Wolfpack song in the middle of the show, the transitional period between stuff that's funny and stuff that's pretty serious. And then at the end, we kind of wrap up talking to comments and stuff. And I thought, you know, you're scrolling through, and sometimes you got ones that are great. Sometimes they're just ones that, you know, and I'm grateful for all of them, you know, ones that are like, hello, how you doing? I'm really grateful for that. But at the same time, you got to weed through it right in real time. And that's cool and all. And that would be good for certain live streams, but not for this. And it just takes too much time. So we decided that we're going to make it into a special feature that we do. We pick out the best ones, the ones we want to respond to, and we just have fun. We just go with it. And so I posted volume 2, right? The second one, posted it last night. It's available. It's still about the same amount of time, just under 40 minutes long. Today, we're going to show a clip from that. I've been told that it's the really important ones. They're all really important, but there was specifically one. There's specifically one, and I sure as heck hope that I see CF in the comment section. CF is a regular. He better not have skedaddled. He better be here, man, because I had some words for that guy. So, speaking of everybody, real quickly, in the comments, let me go ahead. Can I do a window capture from here? Oh, no. I won't be able to. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Boom. Okay. Oh, and it's already set to that. Look at that. Okay. All right. So, no matter where you are, no matter if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, DLive, any of those that we are presently on, and you should subscribe to as many as you can because there's a good possibility y'all boys not going to be on certain platforms much longer. It's just a fact. I wish I could say it was otherwise, but I can't. In fact, I've had to really start thinking about, you know, somebody brought up, they saw a video of me from many years ago, and they said, you know, I really hope that you have that stored, that's something you can keep. It was a clip from a segment that I did on TV on Bannister and Sotheby with the very birth of Paleocrat Radio, which is originally what it was called. It was a Paleocrat Radio, and then it was turned into Paleo Radio, and then it was turned into Paleocrat Diaries. And so the thing is Paleocrat Radio. I have these clips from back on TV. I was a strapping young lad, right? Strapping young guy. And the thing is I thought about it. I said, I don't think I do. I don't have it on any kind of external device or anything like that. And I really had to start thinking that through, because I committed to the idea of putting myself out there in such a way that it's a good possibility that, with everything going on in the current circumstance, it's a possibility that, oh boy, is going to be booted. So you just got to know it. And it's okay. I'm at peace with that. But it's also one of those things about preparation and saying, you have to know what's coming. The world's going to hate you. It hated Christ first. It's going to hate you. It's going to hate me. It's going to hate truth, goodness, and beauty. It's going to hate it. And it's going to come at it, especially when they're trying to, they're trying to bring about the New World Order. And they're trying to, which is exactly, what do you call that? A great reset. What do you call that? And of course, it's all in line with everything we've been worried about with the New World Order and stuff like that. And so even my saying that phrase, New World Order, even my saying that phrase lands me in hot water with these people. They're like, no, don't describe us accurately. Don't do that. But no matter where you are online, if you're commenting, I can see it. I'll greet everybody right now. Then we got to keep cooking. We got to move. We got to move. Okay, I'm not going to be on for 3 hours anymore. I'm trying really hard to keep it around 2. Did it well yesterday. In fact, it's just under 2 hours. I pat myself on the back for that later. But make sure if you comment, give it your best, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you comment about. Somebody asked yesterday if they could ask a question about apologetics, but they were afraid that it would affect the vibe of the show and the flow of the show and stuff. And I said, that's one of the luxuries, in fact, of being able to do a separate video for comments, is that that is the vibe. Okay, so the vibe is whatever's coming in. And if I can't answer it, I can't answer it, but I'll do my best. So, all right, real quick here. You've got Holy Faith Media. Really glad to see you there, bud. Really glad to see you. He's the big boss. He's the big boss man over here at Holy Faith Media. Of course, he's right there at the flagship channel on YouTube. And if you want to donate to the show live, I encourage people to use PayPal as long as that exists. That's another one, you're watching as all this stuff's falling away. But currently it exists. It's paypal.me/Paleocrat. Okay, so paypal.me/Paleocrat. Or if you're one of those that's like, look, I'd rather just do, a super chat, you can do that by going over to Holy Faith Media. My channel is still under review. It's been almost a month now. Suffice it to say, I don't think YouTube is going to be monetizing, oh boy. It's okay. It's okay. You roll with what you got, but if you want to donate, you can do it that way. Annette says, on your website, you need to make it easier to find your store for the computer illiterate people like me. You're totally right. I'm supposed to send something. I should have yesterday to a woman named Brianna, a really cool person, right? Related to somebody who watches the show regularly. Her dad watches the show. And he was like, look, we want to bless you, man. We want to work with you and see if we can help you fix stuff up and whatnot. And so I talked to her, and she's going to be doing some work. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be asking that she can do so that it can make it easier for you. If you go to the website right now, you're going to see, if you scroll down and you see the post, the little squares, you'll have one that says something like our brand new store or something. If you click on that, if you click on any of the pictures, or I think there's a link to, that will take you to where it is currently, where it is presently. And so it's a Zazzle store. You can even look up Zazzle.com, I think, and just look up Paleocrat Diaries when you're there. And it will take you straight to the store. So 5-Day Productions, thoughts on Nick Fuentes. I will talk about that in the comments, man. That's, by example, that's a perfect one. Okay, so that's a perfect question. It's a great question. I'd love to talk about it, and so I'm going to. Later on after the show, I'm going to record it. And I'm going to try to do it right after the show, because if I wait too long, it's difficult. But it's hard too, because the timing of the show, it's made it hard even to get to the post office to send out some of those books. We had 2 winners, okay, and it's kind of cool because one of them chose Machiavelli, The Prince, and the other one chose Future. What is it called? Future Men by Douglas Wilson, and I threw in his wife. Found out that I had Atlas Shrugged. I'm not a big Ayn Rand fan, but it's nostalgic for her. She had a copy many years ago. I think it's from a grandmother, and couldn't find it anymore. It's gone, I think, from a move or something. And I said, look, I'll give you mine. And so they're getting 2 of them. And I'm sending something out to Tim Gordon that I should have sent out like months and months and months ago. My wife made Timothy Gordon something. And so the Rules for Retrogrades guy. friend of mine. And so we're going to be sending that out, but it makes it tough, right? So you got to get in between the show and the kids. So we'll see. We'll see about that. All right, Bethany, good morning to you, Mr. Crazy Maniac and the whole big pack. Adam and I are heading into a pretty craze-mazing meeting. That sounds awesome. I hope that you enjoy the craze-mazing meeting. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's a blast, and I hope that it's just, totally awesome and all your wildest dreams come true. Pray all goes well. I have to catch up when we're done. Many hugs, peace and joy, and of course, my selfie with a heart and American flag, mega buff right arm, and the wolf face. All right, now, let's see here. Oh, so people are having trouble. Bethany's like, we're having trouble too. If you go straight to Zazzle and look up Paleocrat Diaries, that's easier. Or you can go to the blog at paleocratdiaries.com and click anywhere. You guys can do this. I believe in you. I believe in you, man. Brian says, good morning, Wolfpack. Yes. Oh, CF. Oh, yes, I've got words for you, CF. You just wait, dude. You wait. I'm going to show the clip here of last night's video where I respond to the comments. And you said a certain something, dude. You said something that really got under my craw. And I had to deal with it, man. Shocking. I couldn't even believe it, dude. I was blown away. And so, no, I love you, man. I love you, buddy. So I'm so glad you tune in all the time. So my point of this, okay, and last one, let's see, Hugh, this is the last one I'll do for this. Hugh says, you should play the original Deus Ex game. Lots of themes in that were almost prophetic, considering it was a video game. I've seen a couple video games recently, man, that they're talking about that had kind of a predictive programming dynamic or prophetic dynamic, right? And so, and plus, I mean, look, dystopian stories are popular, and these kind of things, it's not as if these are new ideas. It just kind of, it's almost like fill in the blank. So you have an idea for what a dystopian universe would look like and what the power structures would be and the tools at their disposal to take control and stuff, and the different ways that they could cause fear and stuff. And so a lot of these games and movies, they do that. And so, but at the same time, hey man, it's one of those things. So I definitely want to check that out. But if you comment right here, make the comment good, okay? Make the comment good. Do your best. Make it good. And we will talk about it on the post-show Q&A super show. That's when we're going to talk about it. So, all right, before we move on, let me go ahead and take off the chat screen here. I like that right there, man. But before we do, I just want to let everybody know, and I'm starting with the ladies this time. Because it's always the dudes, man. I got the sweatshirts and sweaters and stuff. Look, you got to go to the store, right? You got to go to Zazzle.com, Paleocrat Diaries there, and we'll have the link on our website, paleocratdiaries.com. It's currently not there unless you click on the blog, but it's got all different kinds of shirts. Here's one example. I happen to like that fit. I think it's a nice shirt. I don't like the white. That's me personally. Example, this morning, I'm drinking coffee, and I'm wearing a shirt that my mom got. We did a family picture and stuff, and we had these pajamas, and really, really cool. They were all, it's coordinated and everything. And so I got this really cool white shirt, baseball sleeves and stuff, kind of shorter sleeves. And I'm wearing it. I drink coffee, and I felt it right away, man. It went down my beard, and I'm like, oh, no. I looked down at it everywhere. So I'm not a big fan of the white T-shirt, but it comes in all different colors. And that's one for the ladies, one of the many. Of course, we've got the sweatshirt in black and in white, and it's got the original logo, but it's not just that, because you can get the Wolfpack one. Same thing, black, white. I think there's more than just those two colors, I think. And you can find all of that there. We've got our mug right there. Those are for cool drinks or whatever. That one has ice cubes in it, so it's a bunch of fun. And, of course, we've got our mugs. It comes in 3 sizes. There's the straight to the dome. And, I need a straw. I don't know. My staff is letting me down. I don't even have a straw. They want me to drink out of this cup. I love the cup. It's my owl cup. And we need to make an owl one, too. We got to do that. We have to have a wolf one. We got to do that. And for CF, we have to have a lamb one. That's going to be the CF model. That's what it's going to be, man. CF with bleeding going on over the place. And so you can check it out. That's the straight to the dome mug on the front, and on the back, of course. Well, there's another, the wolf pack. My son Ambrose drew that. And on the back of those, you can either get it with the original logo that my mom hates, or the newer logo. And it comes again in 3 sizes: jumbo, espresso, bone china. And it's got the description, of course. So, all right, make sure to go check that out. We are really, really grateful for all of you. All right, going on to the funny stuff, man. We got to do it, guys. We got to move forward. It's the way that we're rolling today. It's the way that we're rolling today, man. So, because we just marching forward, okay? Marching forward. All right. The first one I got is sent to me here. So, a record player. Oh, okay, yeah, I got a record player. I got to get it tuned up, though. But I got a record player. And, dude, I've got that record, man. Look at that. I got a record player. Cool. Is that Imagine Dragons? No. No, it is not, dude. Okay, this is tragic. I don't know why they think this is funny. It's not funny. It's offensive. No, it is not Imagine Dragons, dude. Oh my gosh, man. Oh man, my buddy. Actually, I think my cousin Derek is the one that gave me the record player, and then I got a buddy gave me a bunch of records. My cousin Derek gave me a bunch of records. He's Dr. Derek. If you haven't seen Dr. Derek and his Corona tips. It's an episode. You can see the full, just him. You can see that over at Paleocrat on Facebook. Oh, she brought out a straw. I love you, baby. Oh, it shows up. Look at that. I thought it'd disappear. Yeah, it's a little bit blue. Okay. So I got a whole bunch, man. But no, that is not Imagine Dragons. It is absolutely not. I don't even know. That's offensive, guys. That is offensive. That person needs to be taught major time lessons in music, history, and literacy and competency, because that person is off their rocker. All right, we're gonna go back to this here, not to the comments. We got some of these stories here. All right, mom asks son to bleach her hair and ends up looking like a pineapple. All right, okay, hold on. I gotta make sure I got that over top. I gotta scrunch this down. Gotta scrunch that down. Hold on. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, okay, TikTok user. Is it all on TikTok at this point? Is this what this is? Is that where we've gone? Everybody, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that TikTok is gobbling up tons of your information. I mean, technically, it doesn't matter, because now even Facebook's made all these deals, and behind closed doors, they're making deals with China like crazy, and then they're like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we did do that. Super controversial, but we did it. Did the hand shaky, but they're not getting your information. You're like, dude, shove it, man. You're lying. So, yeah, okay, so she's looking like a pineapple. Is it true? Is it true? Let's see here. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay, I wanted to see this video, man. Are you kidding me? I had it set up, man. They all worked out so that we would be able to go ahead and see it. Oh, there's the son's face. He's just, yeah. Dude, that's a bad sign, by the way. That's a bad sign. If you see that face after you've dyed somebody's hair, it's just big trouble. Big trouble. Well, you know what? We're going to see if we can get it on Ash Media over here. We're going to see if we can get it. Man, I hate going to TikTok like that. Boy, oh boy, I hate that. Oh, I do. It's okay, man. Where's the thing about the mom? How many TikTok videos this guy make? 9 bazillion? What the heck, dude? You can tell, man, I really don't go to TikTok ever. Okay? Never. You just don't do it. So, okay, I'm not even going to scroll down and give this guy, a whole bunch of stuff. Do they have a specific link? Oh, no, but they got the mom. Okay, hold on. We're going to see if this video... Okay, it works. Here we go. Oh, no, it's not. This is bogus. This is completely bogus. Okay, we're just going to stare at the mom. Here we go. Let's just stare and soak that all in. And allow me to calm down, dude, because I'm getting ticked off. Man, I'm getting mad, dude. The heck? You set something up, you put it together, and all of a sudden it's like... Blah, blah, blah. Oh, I'm cool. I've done my breathing today. I've done my breathe in, breathe out. Done that, dude. I did the cold shower. Super pumped for that, man. So I'm cool. This is a controlled thing. It's a controlled outrage. All right, but this, I don't know about the mom. She looks like she's about to say a naughty word. And that hair, I don't blame her. Oh, they're saying they can't load the video. Great, thanks a lot, you stinking jerks. Stinking jerks, dude. Oh, yes, but okay. Have you guys ever done that? Have you ever done that? I had a situation, and, I can neither confirm nor deny that I was on a copious amount of hallucinogenic drugs when I did this, or I can, however, confirm the detail that the next day, I was in a wedding party in the morning for my buddy, and I dyed my hair I had already dyed it I thought like a green or a blue or something wildly unnatural. I mean, not even remotely close. I've had my hair probably almost every color you can think of. Okay, in the past. And so even in high school, I was dyeing my hair and stuff. But the thing is that I decided, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it out because I felt badly. People were looking at me funky. We were there the night before. The wedding party's all there. And we're having this get together for the rehearsal and everything. And it was great. And we're having fun. But man, I couldn't help to see that all these eyes, man, are all over the place on me. And this was like really, really, really bad. I'm like, this is not good. This is super dupe bad. And so the thing is that I decided really late, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try to dye it and get it all out. I'm going to bleach it out and then put in something natural. But I didn't really understand that process. I didn't understand it very well. And so ended up having the most ridiculous hair in the universe. It just looked totally stupid. And so I decided to shave my head. And for anybody who knows me, I mean, look at the shape of my face, okay? I got this Uncle Fester head. So if I don't have any hair, people are like, hey, what's up, Uncle Fester? And I'm like, hey, a person who's about to get punched in the neck. Karate chopped right in the crotch. You're ticking me off, man. I was real mad. But I think that mom right there, I think that she's even angrier than I was. Okay, man sparks outrage as he says kids sitting in trolleys should be banned. What's the matter with kids in trolleys, man? I don't understand that. An Aldi shopper. They have trolleys at Aldi's? Let's see. Angered parents on Facebook after he revealed why children in shopping trolleys. Oh, shopping carts. Shopping carts. How much cooler is that? From now on, guys, I propose, and I hope that you guys will second this motion, that we are from now on going to call them shopping trolleys. It just sounds so much cooler, doesn't it? A shopping cart? I mean, it just sounds boring. Sounds boring. But a shopping trolley. Oh, dude, I love that. Annoyed him so much, but it's unlikely he was prepared for the backlash he received. An Aldi shopper's been slammed by parents online after he said the kids inside trolleys should be banned. The man revealed the pet peeve on Facebook, unbeknownst to the backlash he was to receive. So you get on Facebook. Have you ever had this where you think, you say something that annoys you and you find out that the whole world hates you now for that? Have you ever done that? I have. Oh, I have. I'm a reluctant lightning rod. Believe me. I could try the best I can. I could be like the guy that's been struck by lightning a bazillion times. Well, I forget the guy's name. But he's been struck by lightning a whole bunch of times. And he started carrying buckets of water and other stuff. So if he gets struck, he's like, it's like, and I think they're plastic. And there's like no metal anywhere. But I'm like, but you got water by you now, bro. You got water. You should just wear a rubber suit or something. Do something. I don't know. Wear like a Mad Max outfit where you're covered in chunks of tire all over the place. Do something. But that's what I'm like. I go online. If I share my opinion online, I post just a comment. It could be something you just don't even think would be controversial. And next thing you know, man, I am literally under just a mound of crazy foaming at the mouth lunatics. Happens all the time. The man revealed the pet peeve on Facebook, posting in the Overheard in Aldi group. He admitted that children in shopping trolleys annoyed the heck out of him, and it didn't take long for a fellow group of members to call him out. According to the Liverpool Echo, he wrote, kids inside trolleys where food has to go really annoys the heck out of me. Anyone else think stores should just ban this practice and approach the culprits? Can you imagine, sir, food goes in there. You're like, well, yes, food does, but there's also like a little seat. There's also a little seat there, man. That's what it's made for, dude. It's not. Are you gonna get mad about the fact that people are putting loaves of bread in the chair spot or purses? Are you gonna get mad about that, dude? The post quickly amassed more than 1,900 comments, with the majority of people disagreeing with them. Somebody said, well, take it up with the supermarket so they can provide better trolleys for parents instead of coming on here mom shaming. Why are you making it mom shaming? Right? I've been there. I've been there, man. I'm all down. I'm down with you. Although, to be fair, it's mostly moms, I'm assuming, right? It's mostly moms. Let's see. Another said, it's like a rite of passage for children. The bigger trolley, the more kids can fit in it. My record is 11 kids. What? What kind of clown car situation is that, man? You know, that's like those sketch comedy things, man, where like you got an illegal car filled with illegal immigrants, and they open it up and there's like 30 of them coming out. It's like, what are you talking about? 11 kids? 2 in the kids' seats, 3 in the trolley, 5 off the sides, 2 on each side, 1 at the front. And she didn't let anybody know, but she's been taking steroids so that she can push the freaking thing. How would you even push that? She's like, ugh, ugh. She's got, you know, the most beefy legs of any woman in the universe. She's like, yeah, I'm like 5% body fat too. Dang, woman. Oh my gosh. You're like, you juicing, lady? And she's like, oh no, I just have a bunch of kids. I push around a trolley all the time. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. A third wrote, sorry, but as a twin mom, I often had no choice but to put one or both in the trolley where there were no doubt seated, no double-seated or even single-seated trolleys. Yeah, this guy's in big trouble, man. What do you think about that? What do you think about that? World's worst wax work museum. World's worst waxwork. That's so. Who wrote that? You can't blame Charles Wade Palmer. You can't blame Charles because normally they're not even the ones that, you know, come up with the title of an article. However, whoever did that over at the Daily Star, they did it on purpose for people like me. They have to read it out loud. Yeah, world's worst waxwork museum. So bad, the visitors cannot recognize celebrities, including Princess Diana. Like, okay, in fairness, if you saw this, if you walked in and you saw this, would you know? Because deep down inside, part of me says, yeah, you know, it's obviously not good. Okay, this is a very poorly done one, but somebody's trying really hard. Does she have an Adam's apple? Hold on a second. Look at that. Maybe it's the shadow. I don't know. It kind of looks like an Adam's apple. I'm not entirely sure. Oh my gosh, dude. She got some smoker teeth too. I don't know. What about that nose, dude? Or something about that nose. You know, but I don't know. I'd still say, yeah, I think that's Princess Diana. Is this Johnny Cash? Who's this? Elvis Presley. Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah. Oh, that's Elvis Presley. All right. Wow, dude. Wow. This is bad. This is bad. You know, it's risky business, isn't it? Realism. It's risky business when you try to do something real. I get it. I was never good. I was really good at drawing things, you know, let's say Marvel characters. I used to draw X-Men all the time. I still have some of those. Savage Dragon, have that. Trying to think. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The ones that were, you know, in comics and stuff, Image Comics. They were with Savage Dragon. So it was like, it wasn't so cartoony. They looked super buff and stuff. A lot of Sam Keith drawings, things like that. But I always struggled if somebody said, well, can you draw me, a real person? I really struggled with that because if you get the eyes off, man, where the eyes aren't, you know, they're too close or too far away, or the nose is a little bit down low or a little too high or too short, it's really easy for people to pick that stuff up. Whereas if you're drawing a picture of Wolverine, you know, I mean, there's a limit, I guess, right? There's a limit. Although Sam Keith, he defies it. Sam Keith, he's the one that drew the comic called The Max. It's one I love the movie. I love the movie The Max. I'd love to review it and stuff like that. But anyway, but this guy here, man, it's so you got to give him props, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Don't know about that. All right, last one. We're moving on. My mother-in-law announced my pregnancy online before I'd even told my family. Holy cow. Okay, you know what? I'm just going to ask you, have any of you had a situation like that where it was a huge announcement and somebody went online and they announced it before you had a chance to? And tell us your story. Tell us your story in the comment section. And if you tell it well, if you do a good job telling that story, oh boy, here, We will talk about it on the after show, the post-show Q&A super show. And so, as I said, I'm going to have to say it. That's how you got to pronounce it, guys. Okay, just say it. Post-show Q&A super show. That's how it is. That's how it's pronounced in a dictionary. Oh, man. But I want, if we talked about this, I'd want to be able to see the video. And I just have a feeling that, yeah, we're not going to be able to do it. Well, yeah, no way. It's like it goes and then it stops. So we're just going to go ahead and just cancel that out. And again, make sure you comment. We're not going to talk about those comments during the show. But after the show, what we're doing now is we are recording after the show. We're recording something that is strictly in response to the comments. So you don't have to follow entirely along. You can bring up questions about whatever you want. And we can talk about it. It doesn't matter. Okay? Personal ones, family ones, marriage, ones about marriage or parenting, ones about church or politics. Doesn't matter. Movies, books, whatever you want. Exercise, the crusade against fat that we're doing. We're going to talk a little bit about that here real soon. So now here's the deal. Let's get that thing off there. So, I have I may have to go back to the main. Yeah, I do. I have to go back to the main because before we move on to the next segment, in the Wolfpack songs, you got to get ready. Here's an example, right? I just got done telling you what we're doing, saying that, we're putting together a video and we upload it to paleocratdiaries.com. It's uploaded technically to YouTube. But if you go to my YouTube channel, you're not going to see either of the two videos that we've done the past 2 days. We're doing them every day. Every day that we do a show, we're doing a video strictly about the comments. About a half an hour to 40 minutes. It's not super long. But we pick the best ones and everything. But if you go to the YouTube channel, you're not going to see it. And the reason why is because we've set it to unlisted. That means that you can go in. It exists, but unless you have the link, you cannot see it. And the only place that we are sharing the link is within the blog post at paleocratdiaries.com. So if you go, you'll see two recent blog posts about it, as well as the one about the store. And so you can go ahead and you can check that out. The video is embedded right there. So it's not just a link. You can watch the video right at paleocratdiaries.com. Just click on that post and there it is. Or if you click on the video, you'll see the title and stuff. If you click on that, it'll open up a new tab and that will be on YouTube to the secret video, to the unlisted video that's hidden. And you can watch it there if you'd like. You can comment, you can like, everything else. And we're even starting to do where if people are commenting under videos, because we're doing it after the fact, there's a lot of people who they're like, well, it was a live show, so I don't know if I want to comment, after that during the replay. But we have a lot of people watching the replay. And so now, if they comment, we can go ahead throughout the day or even the next day and just talk about their comments. It's no problemo. No problemo whatsoever. And so we got to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and play right now. We're going to go ahead and play the volume 2, the highlights. Okay, this one's much shorter. The one yesterday was like 18 minutes, the highlight one yesterday, from the 40-minute video that we did. And this one right here is only about 10 or 11 minutes, I think. And we cover a couple different topics, including one that's really, really enraging. It's really infuriating, man. Really infuriating. Veins popping out. I was like, all sorts of mad. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about it. So I hope you enjoy it. And I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Make sure you get your coffee because right after this, we are going to do the transition to the serious topics. And we've got a lot to talk about today. Not just the stuff going on in the world and the craziness going on and giving you further context and example of not only what's happening, but what's coming. But beyond that, to say that we are aware of what's happening, we are aware of what's coming, and we are now becoming equipped with the knowledge of what we can do and maybe should have done the entire time. But it's not too late. There are things that we can do right now that we must do. Okay, so it's a time of action. And it's a time of equipping ourselves, not just talking about these, these abstract ideas and debating these total abstractions that, don't have any application at this point to the situation because it's just the nature of where we are. So make sure to get your coffee. After that, the transition, and we'll be right back. We're back. We are back with episode 2 This is the second edition of the Paleocrat Diaries post-show Q&A Super Show. It is the Super Show because it is the program, unlisted video, where we go back into the earlier edition, right? The live show during the day, and we take the comments that we did not cover because it just takes too long. But I want to be able to talk to you guys. I want to be able to engage with the comments. And so I told everybody, you comment, you make it good, we're going to talk about it. All right, James, dang, was that your first time you got your heart broken when your pen pal told you about her boyfriend? You know, I don't know if I've ever, no. I didn't have to think very long, okay? Because I've actually thought about it a great deal, but I never, in the context of comparing it to the timing of that. No, the first time I had my heart broken is a girl named Holly. And I think we were like boyfriend and girlfriend in 5th grade, you know what I'm saying? And I think we were going out, and we'd go and hang out on the playground, and we were the king and queen of the castle, and it was just, the big playground thing with the slide and all that. And all the kids were like, treating us like we're cool. And we went out to the zoo, and she's wearing this really cute sailor suit, right? A sailor dress. So it's got the blue and white stripes, the cape, the little, scarf and everything. She's looking really pretty for 5th grade. I had eyes, man. I had eyes. I love the ladies. And so the thing is that we're walking around, and she gets herself one of those slushies, man, a red slushie. And oh boy, here, man, bumped into her. And dude, it went all over the place. Just, you should have seen her face, man. Oh, she was so mad. Broke up with me on the spot, just like this. I was super sad, but that's not even when my heart was broken. I was upset. I still thought I could get her back until the skating party. We had a skating party, I think the next day. And we're over the rink. My dad's a DJ. And it gets to the part where it's a slow skate. So you could bring out your mom and skate with your mom or dad, daddy-daughter stuff, stuff like that. Or for those few brave souls in that school who had a boyfriend or somebody that they liked, because it went through, I think, 8th grade. And so I told my friends, man, because I started hearing rumors that my ex, Holly, man, that she really liked this guy named Roberto. And Roberto, I was so mad. I'm like, because he was my boy, dude, Roberto. We called him Robbie, but his name was Roberto. And I told him, I said, look, I think Holly's, wanted to couple skate with you. We went in the bathroom, we're talking, man. And he's like, I'll never couple skate with that girl, man. I'm your friend. I'm like, yeah, whoa. And we're all, tough and stuff. And he goes out, not even 5 minutes, man. And homeboy is skating on the floor holding hands, dude. Holding hands. I don't even know if I ever held hands with her. Oh, man. I punched him in the face the next day. I did, man. I went, wham! I come up behind him, and I said, hey, Robbie. And he's like, what? And he turns around, and I go, blam! And I hit him down, and he falls on the ground. And I hear Jeremiah, and I turn around, and Ricky Beck goes, blam! And he punches me right in the face. And you got the two of us, and we're laying on the ground, crying. Oh, boy. My heart was broken. It was broken. It was... Oh, man. I'm a wreck. Okay. CF. All right. I have to really squint for this one, man. Okay, they told me I'm going to have to... They said you're going to have to squint. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. My staff. Man, you guys. Come on. I'm all Mr. Magoo in it here. Like, okay. Confession. Not a fan of the howling at the moon stuff. What are you talking about? No, you're talking the Wolfpack song. Oh, dude, are you serious? That is a confession, dude, and that's one I don't know I can forgive. I can't forgive this. Are you serious? Are you out of your mind? You're not a fan. And what are you talking about? Howling at the moon. That's what confused me. I'm like, howling at the moon? What are you talking about? Dude, we never howled at the moon. I don't think I've ever one time howled at the moon. I think even on the Spooktacular, I think we were howling at the sun. I think, pretty sure. And the reason why, man, what do they call it? Is it double entendre? Is that what we're talking about here? Okay, so when I say howl at the sun and we're pounding on the doors, the gates of heaven, right? It's not to invade. It's a play on the idea sun as in it's morning time, S-U-N, and we're pointing up to Christ the King, S-O-N. And that we're not just beating on the gates to come in and do that kind of stuff. We're sitting there and we're saying, look, you knock on the door of heaven. Right? You knock on that, man. You don't let go. You keep on pressing the gate. You keep on saying, Lord, have mercy. Man, what are you even talking about? And how can you not like the Wolfpack song, man? I'm taking back your badge you earned. You earned a badge. I was making one. I was knitting one at home on one of those things, man. You don't get it now, dude. You don't get it. What does he say? He seems pagan. What? To make animal noises? Are you serious? Are you serious, man? You got to be kidding me. Old MacDonald, dude. Old MacDonald. What is he got? Candles lit everywhere in a pentacle or something? Like what are you talking about? What are you talking about? You know. And, let's see. And our blessed Lord warns us of wolves in sheep's clothing. That's true. That is true. I don't want to think that I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing. Number one. Number two, he also says that he is a door, a gate. He says that he is a vine. He's not a vine, man. And he says, we're the branches. I'm not thinking that you're a branch, dude. I'm not thinking you're like a stick hitting the keyboard. I don't think that. It's the way that they use language. And if you want to get really technical, and we must at this point, okay, we're going to have to go right back to Isaiah. Because, listen, a lot of times people will say that the lion will lay down with the lamb. It's kind of like ashes to ashes, dust to dust type thing, right? They'll say the lion will lay down with the lamb. There is nowhere in the Bible that actually says that. 0 places. And the reason why is because due to the incarnation and due to the redemptive work of restoration through Christ in this world, the wolf shall lie down with the lamb. It'll dwell with the lamb. The leopard will lie down with the young goat, the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little boy will lead them. And I say, yes, man. We have, and what do I say? What do I say when we talk about the metaphor, the idea of the wolf pack, the imagery of that? And people talk about the leader every single time, man. Every single time, Christ the King. He knows every single thing before it happens. So he's able to watch out. He's able to watch out for us and make sure that none of the bad guys are coming and that we get a warning if they do. And he's there valiantly fighting for us and fighting, in fact, through us, inspiring us. He is not only the leader of the wolf pack, he's the standard bearer. He's the standard. And I love that image of our Lord where he's holding that standard and it's got the cross, the red cross and the white banner. Just, I love it. And to me, I look at it that way, but I say, same thing with a different place in Isaiah about the wolf and the lamb grazing together. The idea behind both of those things, right? The idea behind both of them have to do with the impact of the incarnation and the renewal of the natural order. That's just what it is. And so to me, I don't want to get too deep into all that. Do you hate, by the way, are you like one of those people that's like, you should never name that team the Timberwolves? Come on, man. You got to cut a boy some slack. Are you serious? But if you don't want to howl during the day and you want to bleat, okay? Maybe tomorrow in your honor we're going to bleat. We're going to bleat to heaven, guys. You got to bleat. We're going to do that for CF, dude. I love you, buddy. Oh, man. I was really confused. Okay, here we go. Barbara Farley, your howl section is growing with fans. It's awesome. Well, okay. See, look. So the listenership is divided, right? Barbara seems to be a little bit cooler than CF. I'm ranking them, man. I got them ranked. They're on my wall. And I'm like, Barbara, you just went up a notch. You were already a top, right? You're already one of the tops. I mean, no doubt about it. But yes, the howl section is growing with fans, isn't it? People holding those glasses high, man. People howling at the sun. And as I said, man, howling to the Lord. We are children of the light. Right, I talk about that. And so far, look, if I've said anything at all or done anything at all that would give any indication that this whole project is actually wolves in sheep's clothing, let me know, because I don't want to be one of those. I don't want to be a bad guy. I'm a good guy, man. I'm a huggable, lovable dude. I'm a huggable, lovable. All right. I hope that you've seen the progress. I hope that what you've seen since the show began, go back and look. Go back and look. Go back and listen. Okay, go back and see the mouth, man. It was off. I mean, even the latency and stuff. There was a problem with that. The camera wasn't nearly as good, not even close to as good. The quality of all of this stuff wasn't nearly as good. We didn't have a Wolfpack song. That was CF. CF liked it back then. He's like, I liked it. He's crying. He's like, I wish you'd go back. I wish you'd go back and be more traditional you with the meme reviews at the end and stuff. And now mixing that in. Sometimes I miss a meme review, by the way. Maybe I'll do those as a special thing. But the point is, look at all the ways that the show has advanced. And like Barbara said, go back and look, check out the comments, see how many comments were there. In the early shows, hardly any at all. Hardly any at all. And you're going to see more and more names in these comments here and in the comment section of the live show where these come from, just like you're seeing more and more faces of people who are recording videos or taking pictures of themselves, drinking coffee, raising their glass high, howling at the sun. And so we add that to the show, and you can see it, and I hope you appreciate it, because we appreciate you. And there we go. I told you, man. I told you I had something I had to say. Oh, so today we're going to bleat. We are going to bleat for you. Oh, man. What are you, a bleating heart liberal? Oh, dude, you know I love you, man. You know it is a fact, dude. It's not even debatable. That's not debatable. Other stuff, and look, you have the right to your opinion. You have the right to your opinion. I'm not going to deny you that. And it was a confession. You knew, in fact, that it might make you, drop down a notch in the popularity chart that we have here. And it is official. It's official. You drop down just a little bit, though. I mean, it's not that big a deal. But we got to get it ready. So look, everybody, right now, you got to get your coffee ready. You got to get it. And because this is the part of the show, we are transitioning now into the next phase of this, where we're going to talk about some very, very, very serious topics. We've laughed. We've had fun. Okay, told some fun stories, everything else. We started off your day this way. That's how we do it, especially because the times are, in fact, terribly, terribly evil. And so because they're so evil, we need to be able to smile. We need to be able to laugh. And that's what we resolve here on this show. We resolve on this show to take a knee for Jesus Christ every day. That's what we do. So we say, we're taking a knee for Jesus Christ. And what are those things that we do in taking a knee? What are we doing? We are resolving here on this show to never give up, to keep on smiling, and memento mori. Remember that we're going to die. So that we can make sure, number one, that we're not playing God, that we're understanding our place in the world, what we are, okay, why we were made. It gives us a context for all the things we're dealing with in this world, okay, and that we resolve to say we are going to push forward. We're going to fight with all of our might. We're going to give it everything we got. And by doing that, the way that we do that is by being ourselves fully. By saying, no more of this distraction. No more of this fear, this timidity. No more. We're done. And instead, we are going to say, God, you gave me certain gifts and talents. You invested those inside of me, and I need to work these things out. I need to put them into practice. This is my work. This is the liturgy here for me that I do every single day. And I put my hand to the task, okay? And I give it the best I've got. And I'm faithful and diligent and patient. And I'm true, good-hearted, giving our best and accepting that whatever the circumstances are, that we have to believe that we were made for a time exactly like this. And that those people in our lives, even and maybe even especially, the ones who annoy us and the ones who are rude, the ones who are angry, the ones who, all those individuals, we've been put in this world in this exact place in the exact time for a specific reason. And we need to make the best of it every single moment of every single day. Every thought we've got, every word we speak, right? Every action that we do, everything that we do, because we're going to give an account for it. We're going to give an account for it. There's an eternal purpose for this. But it's not just eternal. It's also temporal. It has an effect on space and time. That's how God is working through us. I mentioned the incarnation. 'Tis the season, right? 'Tis the season. To recognize the impact of the incarnation in the renewal of the natural order, the restoration of all things, and that we are part of that, beginning with the fact that we ourselves have been redeemed. So make sure you get this ready, because here we go. I got to get to the small camera. I got to get to I disappeared. Look at that. And there we go. So here we are. Okay, bigger wolf pack. Here we go. Boom. All right. We got to rock it out, guys. I don't care where you are. I don't care if you want to bleat. I don't care if you want to howl. I don't care at all. You can do whatever you want. But for me, CF is for you, buddy. Here we go. Yeah, come on. Dance away, kiddos. CF, I hope you're rocking out, buddy. Here we go. I love you guys. You put a smile in my heart every day. Look at that. Boom. Boom. Ow. Yeah. I don't know if that was a dolphin squeak or if that was a bleat. What was that? Well, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. You guys are the best. All right. And you tolerate so much. Oh, do you tolerate so much? Okay, here we go. Here we go. So we got to get to the news right away. And remember, of course, go to paleocratdiaries.com to learn more about the show. Remember, if you become a member, okay. So remember, if you become a member, it's $5 a month. It's as easy as saying no to something small in your life that you're like, this is making me fat, or this is making me lazy. I don't need that. And starting to invest in things that have transgenerational purpose. And that is, for me, that transgenerational thing for me, of course, is my children. And it's their education, investing in the future of my children. And that's why I commit every day. That's why I'm on here. I have a purpose, of course, for the salvation of souls. But insofar as my role with my family is concerned, the way that plays itself out is I say I invest all of that money into my children's education. And the way I'm cranking them out, that's going to go on for a while. I'll let everybody know, though, if we ever get to a place where we're making more than that, I'll let you guys know, and we'll talk about what we're doing with that. So there's always a degree of transparency with what your investments, what they're funding and stuff like that. So make sure paleocratdiaries.com. You can see the full video of, you just saw a highlight reel. There's a whole bunch of great stories, a whole bunch of fun, and a lot of really great comments. And I realized afterward, a couple of them didn't get touched on. Some of them are really personal, having to do with burying children and stuff like that. And I will say this, is that one of the things about this show that's awesome. I mean, this is for the Johnny Q and the Sally Sue. This is a regular person show. This is not, I don't have a bunch of elitists tuned in, and if they are, they don't like the stuff that I'm saying. But I really have committed myself to the idea of just the ordinary person and things that happen in our lives, whether ordinary or extraordinary. And realizing that even some of the ordinary things are, in fact, quite extraordinary. But one of the things where people have really related to the show is the loss of loved ones. And so we have a lot of people who, when they tune in, they might think I'm a nut and say, like, oh, this guy's insane. What's wrong with this guy? He's a complete, crazy man and stuff. But the thing is they learn more about the story. They learn more about Team Tiny Dancer. That's the name that my daughter selected for our family and for all of the supporters when she was going through childhood brain cancer. She died a number of years ago. And so people have heard that story. They've seen it. They watch the video that's available at youtube.com/Paleocrat. And so they go and they check it out. The Atheist Family Converts one. And so #1 video of the year on my channel. And people go and they watch it and they're powerfully impacted by it. But it's been a place where individuals who've gone through really tragic things, right? Cherie, for example, she lost her daughter, Aislinn. And it's a really tragic story. Also powerful, by the way. Also powerful. And so we have people in here who've gone through that and find this show as a sort of consolation, right? And a way to connect with others who've lost and who grieve, even when they're smiling. There's always, it's like the inverse of the twinkle of an eye. It's like the twinkle in the eye when you're crying, but then it's the inverse of that when you're smiling. There's still sadness in those eyes, right? And they're going to live with that forever. And so I'm really grateful that people who've gone through all of these things in their lives, that they are feeling a camaraderie with this show. And so really, really grateful for that. So I wanted to start off here first Actually, hold on. It's not even that one. Let's see. So I wanted to start out first by saying this. Satan has a way of making you look crazy to the unbelievers. Don't let that discourage you from spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ. A soul is worth more than someone's opinion of you. We need to hear this now more than ever. We've lived in a world for a long time in the United States of America where there was a mirage. There was a kind of, it was a mirage, is the best way to put it, because there's been a sense of religiosity in our country for a long time, and it may have been running on fumes. There were warning signs that it was falling apart, not only with the advancement of progressive agendas over time and Freemasonic agendas over time, but deeper than that even, was to see, and maybe more evident than that, was the breakup of denominations. And I'm not a fan of denominations. I'm a Catholic. I believe that the Catholic Church is the church. However, there's a value that even where there's more than just the Catholic Church in a society, having churches not be a bazillion of them, and it just becomes this relativistic thing, this relativistic scheme where anybody can start any church at any time. There's not even a semblance of a holy order. Like, it goes from the day and age where, well, I was commissioned, I got my license, my pastoral license from this body, and I believe that is what qualifies for me as a holy order. Ignoring the idea that those people, who they get their holy orders from, it still had the semblance of that. There was still some concept of hierarchy. It was a concept of authority and things being passed down, and that unity and even submission that's required, that the cohesion that's required for that. And that just is toast. Anybody now can just do whatever they want. You can be a guy who starts a church in your house for all anybody cares. And so you can just do this. Say, I feel called. And you can disagree with everybody else. You can pop up a church right next door to another one that's right across the street from two more. And when you see that visibly in your society, that's a huge difference from when you would look and see these images that were drawn and were painted of places from the medieval times, or any period in history where the church has been, where the church is in the center of the town and has a major time steeple, right? Super tall. It's meant to be put at the highest place. That way the cross is always higher than anything else around. And so you could see that instead of having one church in the entire city surrounding it, instead, now you've got them scattered all over the place. Some people might see that as a good thing. That's a warning sign. That's actually a bad thing. And same thing with the idea of seeing massive skyscrapers. On the one hand, that's a positive thing. You're looking at the advancement of technologies, the advancement of economies, right? At the same time, you're now dwarfing, and you are now showing in the sky, in the skyline, you are now showing what holds supremacy in your society. Money. It's no longer a steeple. It's no longer a cross anymore. These were warning signs. But we were living it up because we had the lemon drops and the lollipops. We had the convenience stores where we could get gasoline and hot dogs. Why anybody thought that was a great idea? They're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to go get a hot dog up at the convenience store. And you're like, isn't that where you get gas? And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get that too. Not good. But the thing is we were distracted. We were distracted by a bazillion different shows on TV, a bazillion different channels on TV. We were distracted by an internet that just dwarfs even that. A nearly infinite number of websites that you can go to. Distractions, one and all. Boom, 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 boom. We were distracted from it. And all of those, by the way, all of those things, you could look at individually and say, this is actually a problem. There's something wrong here. These are evidences of, these are bad fruit. This is not good. Super problematic. And we could look at it and say that. But if you look at the entirety of it, if we say, I'm not going to miss the forest for the trees, I'm going to see the whole big picture, the whole enchilada, and we look at it, we had to see that, kind of like the darkness in this picture, it was approaching. And with time, it became accelerated more and more and more and more. And it's to a point now where we got to look at these power structures. I like the one I saw this. Power structure of the American regime. Tell me if you think it's true. Big tech at the top. Billion-dollar corporations, Silicon Valley. The mainstream media. Political NGOs. The FBI, CIA, and other federal enforcement. Both establishment parties. universities and academia, and the police. So if you look at that and you begin to see in each one of those things, for one, you know what's not on there, and rightly so at this point. Do you know what's not on there? Do you recognize it? Do you see what's missing? The church. Nowhere. And did you catch it? Did you sit there and say, well, where's the church? And ask yourself this question. Where does the church line up with that? And in America, can we even rightfully say the word the church? Institutionally speaking, politically speaking, as a unit, can we actually say that? I don't know if we can. I don't think we can. It would be, one of those things, polemical. We wouldn't be able to say it because it's not a unified front, not even close. And look at the internal divides right now. I mean, there's tons of them. How many of your churches, by the way, over the last 10 years have embraced or softened their position, which for the entire history of that denomination or church believed in a position on issues like abortion or contraception or LGBT? How many of them, or issues to do with Black Lives Matter, Marxism, those sorts of things? How many have softened their position? And what kind of strife has it caused? You can see it every once in a while in the news. You'll have major divides. Right? The Methodist Church was a recent one, not too long ago anyway, not too long ago. And I didn't follow it after this, but I knew there was a major divide, and there was an effort to try to change the church's position regarding different LGBTQ plus everything issues. Okay. And you saw that back with the Episcopalians, and you had a lot of them flee. So that was kind of, one of the first ones that was outside of, let's say, the Metropolitan Church, which is kind of, founded for the idea that that's where you're going to have that, or the United Church of Christ, and how that even affected with the Congregational Church. So you see the difficulties with these, and then with Black Lives Matter, all of a sudden those conversations started happening, and those started dividing. So it's gotten to the point now where even that semblance of unity is toast, even within those churches themselves. So you've added to the division that already existed. And you say, but that in part because where's the authority? If it's just a dude in his Bible and he's like, well, I prayed all week long, the pastor, I prayed all week long, and I think God impressed on my heart that George Floyd was awesome and that Black Lives Matter is the future and we all need to take a knee. So I'm bringing in somebody to, tell you about how that's, biblical somehow. Okay. In a world where it lacks authority structures, somebody could say, well, me and my conscience disagree with that. And that's for good and for bad, by the way. That's for good and for bad. So let's say that somebody says, man, we've fallen far away. I prayed. I feel God's impressed on my heart. We've fallen really far away from where we began. We need to get back to the roots of what we believed and get back to those traditions, recognizing the way that the world has influenced us. We have done less influence of the world, and the world has done an enormous amount of influence on us, and we need to get back. That somebody could say, you know what, George Floyd, bro, why are you such a Nazi? And they could do that. And based on the principle that it's them and their Bible and the Holy Ghost and their prayer, what are you going to say? Other than, well, I think you're wrong. And you're now in the world like the movie Dogma, where it was like, everybody's got opinions and your opinion's as good as mine crap. It's relativistic. And that's really troublesome because it's not with these. With these, this is a unified front. More and more and more and more and more, we're seeing it. It's evidence, and we're going to show you some evidence now. But I'm going to begin by showing you the grand picture. Okay, the grand picture. It's a video for the Great Reset, and I'm going to turn the volume down because I don't know if it's got a copy, any kind of thing like that. I don't want to get any strikes or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and play it. It's okay. So you got 8 predictions for the world. You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. Whatever you want, you'll rent, and it'll be delivered by drone. The U.S. won't be the world's leading superpower. A handful of countries will dominate. You won't die waiting for an organ donor. We won't transplant organs. We'll print new ones instead. You'll eat much less meat. And an occasional treat, not a staple, for the good of the environment and our health. 1 billion people will be displaced by climate change. We'll have to do a better job at welcoming and integrating refugees. Polluters will have to pay carbon tax. There'll be a global price on carbon. This will help make fossil fuels history. You could be preparing to go to Mars. Scientists will have worked out how to keep you healthy in space, the start of a journey to find alien life. Western values will have been tested to the breaking point. Checks and balances that underpin our democracies must not be forgotten. Which, by the way, they go through all that and they say checks and balances in our Western democracies, and you go, dude, don't you? Here's the internal incoherence of all this. Okay, is that they're going against these ideas of Christendom, Western philosophy, Western civilization and culture. They're going against that, and yet, and basically having this takeover of the big guys, because they ain't going to give their money away. They're not going to rent their castles. They're going to own those mansions, man. They're going to own those planes. They're going to own them. They don't want to level. They want to level you. They don't want to level where you bring people down and raise people up. Well, maybe they do, but as long as it's not them. As long as they're the ones doing the leveling. That's all that matters, because it preserves their position. So they're like, well, checks and balances. We need to keep that. And here's the thing. They don't even understand how prejudicial that is to Western civilization at the expense of the rest of the world. So they're just cherry picking. They're cherry picking. And not everything they said was a bad idea, by the way. There are certain things you say, yeah, look, wouldn't it be great if we no longer had to wait for another person to pop out an organ if you were, in fact, able to print them? As an example, by the way. It's not, I don't even have a problem with the idea of being better to the environment. In fact, I support that. I do not support having international agencies that are going to be able to tell you how much tax you're going to do and everything else. I don't support that, in part because the only way that that would actually matter is if it had the level of enforcement. And who's going to give them that right to actually enforce? Who's going to enforce it? That's going to be a whole different agency itself. And if it's not, then you've got judge and jury. So it's a tough, that'd be a tough one. It's not tough, though, for the Tower of Babel. It's not tough for the Tower of Babel. It's not tough for a one world government. And all they're doing is recasting the same story. They don't understand, of course, that one world governments don't work this way. And in fact, that the idea of a one world government or a one world state by itself is actually an impossible thing. Because the state by its very nature is going to create an us-them. It's going to create the idea of friend and enemy. And that division, without that division, you're not a state. And I don't know what to tell you. But people are taking it deadly serious. And it's getting to the point where you got to look at events and you have to say, I don't want to say that every event plays into this exact thing. I'm trying to show this as this is a smorgasbord of crazy. This is a whole bunch of crazy going on here. And each one of those kind of play a part. Each one of those has its own emphasis and its own liabilities, even for the power structure, even for the manipulators and the puppet masters. But we can see how this is working itself out and how social change and the force of social change happening from the top down and coming down and saying, you will submit. You will heal. We can see how it plays itself out in society. And here's an example. I showed it before. I'm going to show it again. So we're just going to watch the video, and I want you to really think about this because we are right now in the heat of it all. We are. People are desperate for answers. There's people, I've talked to them. They're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do, man? What's the next move? We've got to do something. And right now, we don't have anybody leading the way. Donald Trump sure as heck isn't leading the way. I don't mean to be rude. I'm not going to throw him under the bus. At the same time, I know some people are like, dude, don't be critical of Donald Trump. And I'm like, for one, Look, I was a tolerant guy for a long time, watching as people were shamed, watching as they were beat down to the ground because of their support for him. The kind of fear that people had to have their signs up, the kind of fear that people had to have that red hat on. I saw it. I lived it. And where was he? On those issues. So, I mean, in many ways, there were many times where he really did let his own people down. Now, that's one of those things. It's a consequence of his strength. And his strength in this regard, the utility of that man for this moment, is that he's a strong man. In certain ways. Not in others, but in certain ways. And in ways that many people, millions and millions and millions of them, believed was sufficient. And believed not only sufficient, but essential. At the same time, at this point, the idea, we're going to fight. Talk of 2024. Are you guys even interested in that? Are you even interested in 2024? Do you even care about that anymore? Do you believe that the necessary changes, even to the system as it is right now, in the kind of crisis that it's in right now, do you believe that the electoral process is the way that this is going to happen? Do you even believe that anymore? And if you do, think about Donald Trump. Think about this. Man, a strong man, a guy, the executive position. And if you want to say, yeah, but we got to get down to the real basics, the brass tacks here, local community stuff. Say, dude, we've been saying that too for a long time. What's your social theory, man? What's your social theory? But we're in a situation because here's how the enemy talks.
And then we call it the wrap-up smear. If you want to talk politics, you call it the wrap-up smear. You smear somebody with falsehoods and all the rest, and then you merchandise it. And then you write it, and they'll say, see, it's reported in the press that this, and this. So they have that validation that the press reported the smear, and then it's called the wrap-up smear. Now I'm going to merchandise the press's report on the smear that we made. And it's a tactic, and it's self-evident.
It's self-evident. It's self-evident. And if you want to see how it works in harmony, in fact, because there's two sides to this coin. On the one hand, you've got the tactic of the smear, and on the other hand, you have the smear being coupled with a defense. And it shows itself to be grotesquely hypocritical. And it's this.
I don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there is unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says
Enemies
that
of the
protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about
so
your
you don't have
dad's
to have peaceful
immigration
protests.
practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even
think
if he
about
lost,
what
he
they're
insulted
saying.
your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans
they're
rapists
saying.
and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face.
Punch him in the
and then gotten out of
face.
race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Just look. Just listen.
His character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
Wow.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator
Wow,
is under
okay.
investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that.
on both levels. That this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
One marked state trooper vehicle, 2 black SUVs.
It's okay. I'll stop it there. Did you get the point? At what point in any of that discussion were these people not talking in a way that's kind of like, you know, Hezbollah? I'm serious about it. It's like a nervous chuckle. That's a nervous chuckle to sit there and say, at what point? And what were we doing? Working. What were we doing? Raising families, going to church. What were we doing? Obeying the rules that were being thrown on us with COVID. Losing our jobs. Getting depression, everything else. But what were we doing? We were turning on the TV and watching night after night after night after night after night after night of occupations, riots, and looting, including to buildings belonging to government institutions, courthouses, police stations. And what did they say? Cuomo gets on there. What did he say? You show me where it says it has to be peaceful. You show me where. Maybe you forgot peaceable assembly. I mean, you know, it's what that is. Other people saying, look, there's going to be, we got to create massive unrest. Blood. They said this and they got away with it. There was never, when did the government ever investigate any of these people? When? They didn't and they won't. They didn't and they won't. Because of that power structure, because it's in harmony together, because the media, they're the cronies for them, they're the foot soldiers for them. It's the apologetic wing. So it goes out there and it says what they're paid to say. A bunch of actors, by the way. Bunch of phonies, man. A bunch of phonies. But just as a reminder, Loretta Lynch, there will be blood in the streets. Think about that. And were you afraid, by the way? When you saw, were you afraid for your business? Were you afraid for your home? Do you know how high the crime rates have gotten since Black Lives Matter? Do you know how many police have been shot since Black Lives Matter? Or extremely injured since Black Lives Matter? Do you know how many drive-bys have taken place since Black Lives Matter? Were you afraid, by the way, of that? Are you now? Who says protests have to be peaceful? Cuomo. Presley, there needs to be unrest in the streets. Kamala Harris. Protesters should not let up. In fact, remember, she helped to fund them. They go to jail. They're looting. They're rioting. And what did they say? What did they say? They said that kind of activity, that is the cry. That's the voice of people who they're not heard. So if they don't feel like they're heard, then they're going to burn crap down. They're going to act in ways that are unruly, but they justify it because they believe that what they're not being heard about, what their ideas are and values are that aren't being heard, they believe that those are important. And they say, we understand. Because it plays into their team. It's tragic, but true. It has nothing to do with truth. It has to do with the utility that a certain cause or a certain idea has toward the advancement of the beliefs and values of those in the media, those who are politicians, those in academia, those in the deep state, big tech. That's all it's about. Pelosi, I just don't know why there aren't uprisings all over this country. Maybe there should be. Where were all of the banks, by the way, pulling out, saying we're not going to work with you anymore? Where were the email companies telling Nancy Pelosi we're not going to work with you anymore? Many of those banks and many of those companies had their windows smashed in by a bunch of savages going through the streets. You get out and you create a crowd. You push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore. Anywhere. You're not welcome anywhere. Where was the FBI? Where was Secret Service? Where are any of these people? Where are any of those institutions? This goes to show, and I need people to get it out of their head when they sit there and they say, but the military is on our side and the police are on our side, and there's a whole bunch of patriots. Where were they? Where were the freaking whistleblowers? Where were they? They were hunting our people down. They were putting them through the ringer in court, bankrupting them, raiding their home and telling CNN so that they can record it, like with Roger Stone. Screw them. And look, you and say, man, you know, boy, you're being pretty mean. I'm saying, no, I'm recognizing the enmity. I didn't create the enmity. They accepted it. They took the freaking knee. They took the knee. And when they did that, it was enmity with you. And so you're just recognizing, you're saying, man, this person wants to freaking kill me. This person wants to hunt me down. This person wants me to go away. They want me to go to a re-education camp. Holy crap. What the freak is that? Eradicated. Go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever. President Trump. And right now, and look, history, by the way, if you want to salvage, people are like, well, we need to move forward to 2024. There is no such thing as that anymore with these ideas and values, because if we don't fight back right now, if we don't do something and say we need to just recognize the reality of the situation, and if people want to slow walk this thing, the other side is not slow walking it. They've accelerated this bugger. High octane, man. This is high octane stuff for them, just blazing a trail. At this point, they picked up so much steam, it's breaking the sound barrier. And you say, man, the idea that those beliefs and values that you want to carry with you 2 years, 4 years, 6 years more, good luck, because they are labeling it right now in the same way that they labeled things to do with Adolf Hitler, things that had to do with Mussolini. Of course not Mao. Of course not Mao. Of course not Stalin. Because those are their butt chums. And so if you think for a second, go back to that stinking grid, man. Go back to the grid. Do you think for a moment that if all of these groups, and they are already defining this, they are branding everything, not just the event, man, that's like a distraction. They're branding the entirety of the movement at all. They are branding the entirety of the presidency, not just the man, the entire thing. They are branding in a certain way. You tell me which one down this list is not doing that. These are the levers of institutional power in a state. You want to be like the person who's like, you know, doing the uphill battle of saying, well, you know, this historical group wasn't that bad. And they're like, dude, it's the worst possible description you can give a person or a group. That's a big uphill. That's a big battle you got ahead, buddy. Good luck with that. Even just trying to defend yourself, people are going to look on you with scorn. They're going to look at you with disgust. They already do. It's not even about like what's going to happen. This stuff, we are late to the party. We're late. We always are. The 6-month-long riot supported by every institution for a fentanyl addict who got buried in a solid gold casket on live TV, as CEOs personally bailed out rioters and anarchists, annexed parts of cities, were actually just about justice. The Trump supporters are the real threat you need to worry about. There's no psyop here. You must just be a stupid conspirator. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see how deeply it's already sunk in? Do you see ahead far enough to realize that day and age where you could sit down and have a discussion, it was like, you know, how many of you had friends who were Democrats or Republicans and you disagreed with them, right? And you sit down and you talk and it really bothers you and you guys aren't budging and stuff, But that guy doesn't think you need to actually go to an actual re-education camp. That guy is not saying that you should never have a job, and people like you, anyone like you, should never have a job in any of those levels and institutions that we just showed. They are now. And they weren't putting together a long list of names and addresses. Pumpkin pie bacon grandmothers. They love themselves some Trump, and guess what? Yeah, good luck having a bank account, Granny. Little Jimmy and little Sally. Yeah, good luck going to school. Mommy and Daddy, yeah, they supported Trump. It's what they want. And it's where we actually are. They're getting their way. Look at it. Your outrage is manufactured. BLM riots lasted 7 months. Condemned mostly by Republicans. Encouraged by media and politicians. Police force used. 23 plus people shot dead. 700 officers injured. 150 Fed buildings damaged. Hundreds of small businesses destroyed. Some of these numbers, you know, the shot dead, I don't know, I wouldn't say that. Okay, I said it was the estimation, the one that I remember is about 12 to 9, was it 12 to 17 or something like 12 to 19? Based on different reports. 700 injured, I believe that is the number that was given. I can't account for how many Fed buildings were damaged, but we saw it all on TV. The point is, we saw these buildings broken into. We saw them torn apart. We saw them lit on fire. We saw them spray painted and completely surrounded. We saw the idea of people trying to keep individuals inside. Kind of like the police did when they locked up a hotel in D.C. from the outside. How that's not a violation of fire code is beyond me. That's insane. You can see it. You can see the problem here, can't you? Now there is a difference, and I've said this before. The difference being that what happened in D.C. cut to the very heart. It wasn't an appendage. It was, you know, it's not like, well, yeah, it's a federal building, but not the White House. Yeah, it's a police station, but it's not, you know, the Senate or the House of Representatives. There is a difference here. There is a difference here. And that, but again, we're back to that whole, this is an arms race between two different warring political units. And right now, the other side as a political unit is far more unified. The whole spectrum. And they have a leader, as inept as that guy is. Have you heard the videos of him where he's talking? You think that Joe Biden's not a strong man? Are you nuts? He might be fragile and weak and, you know, having all sorts of mental issues and stuff, and he's a raging pervert. But at the same time, listen to the way that he talks tough, even to black leaders who are pointing out some weaknesses in the stuff that he did. Remember, I played the audio of that phone call, the leaked phone call. He wasn't pussyfooting around. He's playing tough guy. And so, you know, you sit there and you're like, man, you know, these people are messing around. And on our side, where are they? The ones who were brave enough, the very few, well, how many? It was 6 of them who were brave enough to say, we're not going to certify this. We're voting against it. We're making a claim against it. We're saying that this is wrong. Those individuals right now are being threatened with expulsion. They are losing contracts even for books. Holly, for example. Was it Simon & Schuster dropped him? Which one was it? Supposed to come out with a book? Dropped him. All these companies, and part of this is good, by the way. Part of this is okay. It reveals something, in fact, where you have these big companies, big tech and big banks saying, you know what, we're not going to fund you anymore. We're going to stop donating to your campaign. And you go, wow, so maybe that's why 230 hasn't been fixed at all. Section 230. Maybe that's why. But how does propaganda work? You have this. Vox, same publication. Every person who forced their way into the Capitol should be arrested. On the other side, riots are destructive, dangerous, and scary, but can lead to serious social reforms. And look, right at the bottom, fiery but mostly peaceful protests after police shooting. Look behind him. Look at it. But again, in the arms race, each time, what did I say about the arms race, guys? When you have two warring political units, both of them are, because they're political units, they have the ability, they're sufficient enough with power that they are able to label enemy and friend. And that they have the access and they're able to wage war. Okay? In that arms race between two competing factions like that, when you have that civilizational collide that I talk about all the time, when you have that, okay, when one group goes here, you heard it in the video a moment ago. When they go low, we kick them. We kick lower. But it's also upward. It's an escalation of force. I've compared it before to the idea that, you know, if a guy comes up to you and you're a police officer and he comes up and he's trying to punch you in the face, you're not bound by duty to do karate against the guy and hope that you can karate chop better than him. You're able to, you have to go up. Now, in that situation, one of those represents a political unit. The other one would be private. It's just an individual. But what if you have two? And they both have access to increased, elevated mechanisms. So one group comes in and they do one thing. This one says, well, I'm going to do more. This one says, I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to do more. And where does it end? And the higher up you go, just like with Trump waiting for a long time to do anything at all, the further it went, the further it got, the more extreme the measure was required, which is why people started saying he's going to sign the Martial Law Act. He's going to sign it, man. We're going to have it. He's going to, he's going to go in, he's going to swoop in, he's going to do this, and he's going to do that. Because all the other fail-safes, man, they were done. They're toast. And so because it had escalated, it got to the point where each and every time it escalates, it requires, in order to shut down the other side, going up even above that with more force down. And at this point, if you look at the two, there's one that is losing badly, and that's us. It's us. It doesn't make it easy that we're afraid to say anything. As if what we're saying, I mean, if we echoed the exact same thing, and this is how you know this is a scam. Because if we said the exact same words as the people that we played the video of a little while ago, if we said the exact same words, we would be treated as though we were the scariest people in the universe. And what's amazing about it is that when you go back to that pyramid, we have no authority in any of those realms. Zero. None. We do not control any level of that. Zero. And so you go, okay, so if there's two political units, this unit here doesn't control any of those things, and they say the exact same words as the one that does have access to that power, that does have access to those means and mechanisms, that if that ends up happening, right, and you say that, then you're the super bad guy, but if they say it, they're not, that's how you know exactly what I'm saying is true. It's one of the bazillion evidences. And now we're here. So you got leftists now. Months ago, remember? Remember months ago? They're sitting there and they're out there doing that thing. Is that Photoshop, man? Look at his mouth. But then on the right, well, I never. The same people who said the crap that they said in the video we just watched are doing that. And you know what? They're going to get away with it too. Look at this. You tell me, how often do we go through something and after, in America especially, how often do we go through something where a group is maligned and a group is mocked and everything else, they're shooed out of power, oppressed like crazy, and then it just goes ahead and changes and says, well, we're going to get it back and we're going to change the history books and we're going to say that we were good guys and we weren't really Nazis and we're not really terrorists, blah, 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 blah. It ain't happening. If you don't fight right now, it is not going to happen. Period. End of story. And you're faking it. If you think what I said is not true, you are a faker. I don't even have time for you anymore. Get the heck out. This is the future for our kids. It is the future for our churches. It's the future for our businesses. And if you don't see that, get out. You are a distraction. You are a stumbling block. Get out. Find me at paleocratdiaries.com. Find me there, guys. I'm telling you, I ain't playing around anymore. It's done. Because we know how this works. And people can say, well, let's debate it. Let's work it out. And you go, dude, the group against us, that political unit with the power in every single level of that sphere, and that whole pyramid structure, that group over there, they are burning down the arena wherein debates even happened. The whole idea. And it was warning signs for that. There was warning signs for that. Remember, when the Me Too movement, when they talked about the idea of believe all women, that was an attack. That's a warning sign, in fact. It's a warning sign that they have abandoned, for political reasons, emotional ones or whatever, that they have abandoned the idea of, number one, innocent still proven guilty. That's number one. And number two, the idea of a burden of proof. And so guess what? The burden of proof. That's the very idea in a debate and dialogue, is you have to have a burden of proof. You have to present something. You can't just make a claim. You have to be able to back that up. You have to be able to substantiate that, to demonstrate why that is good, why it's true, why it's obligatory. And we see how they do this. Meet John Sullivan. He's a BLM extremist from Utah. He and his girlfriend are also members of Antifa. He was also inside the White House. In fact, he was all over the place. And then, guess what? He went on CNN. Let's see if we could go ahead and oh, I think. Here we go. Oh, look at there. Look at there. CNN used him as their inside source during the whole situation. Look. He was confronted, by the way. He was confronted, I believe, outside of a hotel. He wanted nothing to do with that. Do you blame him? And watch this. These are things that you're not going to see, but you have to realize, and you have to say, I'm not even going to make a judgment on exactly what's happening. I want you to think about it. I want you to look and see who is handling these devices. Okay, we'll just call them devices. Who's handling them? What is going on? Who's giving it to whom? You got to look at it and decide. I mean, look, this is like one of those weird things. So you got people who are disagreeing and saying you got to surrender. Don't do this. What is this? What is happening here? And that guy, by the way, in the green with the red hair, that guy's a loon bird. That guy's a crazy loon bird, man. But we're going to see more and more and more. In fact, we're going to see stuff even to do with Miss Babbitt. And that whole lead up to that's going to be surprising. And you got to say, why is there a dude in one of these videos? Why is there a dude coming from behind the police? And he's all of a sudden the wild, crazy guy. And he seems like he's talking to people. They're in the police, but he's dressed up. He's got a hat. He's got glasses. He's got a backpack. Next thing you know, somehow he goes from behind the police, gets mixed in with the group. And then next thing you know, he's the one with the Kevlar helmet smashing in the window. The exact window with Miss Babbitt. And moments later, that same guy ends up getting somehow through the whole police group, down through the side, changes his clothes, packs it in a bag, comes back up, and a lady in a leather jacket busting him. She's like, what are you? She's pointing, saying, you got dressed down there. What is that? What is that? But look at the way it's affecting. It's not just affecting, conversation. It's affecting stuff like this. Reversal of fortune. Not a single Fox News show is in the top 10. Only 2 of them are in the top 20. Think about it. Think about that. How the mighty have fallen. How the mighty have fallen. And you say, how is that even possible? Because you have 2 warring political units. And because one is winning. I think that this is true. I think this is what we're going to be looking at here. And this is why, there's got to be more study about this. We have to really get into this because to find out what this means. I know a lot of people back in the day that were like, oh, the Patriot Act is dope. You're not patriotic if you don't support the Patriot Act. Those people are the same ones that were like, oh, dude, we got to go into Iraq. Now they've changed their tune on that. They've changed their tune on that, realizing, wow, man, the Patriot Act sucked. I was one of those from the beginning saying the Patriot Act sucks. Bad for business. Bad, bad, bad. But it was a tough thing because the conditions were set. Because the crisis had happened. Because people were primed to not only accept it, but to even those who were not in the party were willing to accept it. And the people who were in the party that would be the ones to draft it, to vote on it, to sign off on it, that party, those individuals were not just okay in allowing it to happen because the crisis had spurred them. They were much more than that. They were enthusiastic about it. So a lot of Democrats said, well, look what happened to us. We were attacked as a country with the Patriot Act. We were attacked. We got to do something. There were a lot of Democrats back then who said it was bad. There were very few Republicans. But there was a decent number of Democrats, not a bazillion, but there was a decent number of them. But there were also a lot of people who were like, look, we need these measures in place. Because the crisis had an effect. What is going to be in 2.0?
How's it going, guys?
Good, how are you?
Good, good.
I think stuff like this.
Day?
Yeah, how about you?
Good. I know why you guys are here. I know you guys.
We're here to shop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally understand.
Peacefully shop.
Totally
Just,
fine. I have
household groceries.
No problem with you guys want to shop. No problem with you guys just want to grab your groceries. I was having a good conversation.
We told
with you.
everybody to maintain their distance, be polite and respectful, and respect other people's rights because we don't want special treatment. We just want to be honored as shoppers.
Oh, good.
No, I hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I understand all that, truly.
Thank you.
And like I was telling your friends over there, I don't want to tell you guys what to think, what to do, what to believe, anything like that.
We honor that.
I would ask kindly that you guys understand here at TJ's and what we're doing, we're just trying to work, make a living.
Hey, I get it.
The difference
Absolutely.
you guys are trying to make isn't going to be made with us.
We're just shopping.
With your government.
Well, no. We're
I
just
understand
shopping.
that. I'm not talking about the shopping. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about
That
what
is
you guys.
true. You're right.
Totally understand that.
We're
We
trying
just
to
have
do that.
Now here's the thing: you're seeing in
here-
this example, you're seeing a situation of power again. You have Trader Joe's. Now the video goes on. I'm trying to cook through this. We don't have too much time left. So the thing is that I'll fast forward to the end of the story. It's really simple. They're not going to be let in. Those gatekeepers there are saying, look, we have our reason for this. This is, on behalf of Trader Joe's. So you have a representative of that institution who's out there, who's ensuring that nobody like this is going in. Now this person says, we're just here to shop. That is not even true. They are there to be activists. That's why they're recording it and stuff, and that's why they're walking up. These people, oh yeah, we're just here for this. No, you aren't. You're here. You at least admit that you're trying to do 2 birds with 1 stone. Maybe you are trying to get yourself, some hot pockets. That might be true, but you're also trying to make a statement, and that's okay. I'm down. At the same time, this is an example of this. What was his answer? He said, you're not going to deal and fix this thing by making a stand inside of Trader Joe's. The government. Yeah, go run for office. Maybe you should run for school board. Maybe you should try to run for, for office like House of Representatives. You could do that like Peter Meyer. Peter Meyer did that. You're just a regular person. Oh, yeah, they really care about you. That's exactly how it works, isn't it? No, but look at the polemical use of that. Look at the idea that they're able to tell you that, and that whether or not it's true, maybe it's true a long time ago. Maybe it never was. But the point is, they're able to look at you now, and they're able to tell you that, and what is your response? What are you able to do? Nothing. Because this can happen. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are your kids ready? Your children? Your teenagers? Are they ready?
Hey, officer, what is she going to do with her kids? Can you just answer her? We got this, okay? It's not our first time arresting people who have kids on scene. We got this. Thank you for your concern, though. We got this. Thank you for your concern.
Yeah, we got that. I'm sure you do, buddy. You can see how well they got it. Here we go. This is America, by the way. Oh, one more time. Is that going to be the sound of your daughter? Is that going to be the sound of your son? Is it going to be the sound of your wife? And what are you going to do? I'm talking to the men. What are you going to do? I'm talking to the pastors. What are you going to do? Because so far you haven't done shit. You haven't. You've let us down. I'm sorry for swearing, but you know what? Sometimes the only word that makes sense. You haven't done it. What are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and cry when they come for you? Oh, yeah. Are you going to be the person? Well, look at the hypocritical nature of it all. Dude, that is old, man. That has been going on. Welcome to the club. I don't want to kick a guy when he's down. I mean, look, if you're now part of the club, I got you. But dude, you got to catch up. You better book it fast. You better get in here and you better get working. Because look, I don't even have all the answers. I'm a man who's outraged by what I see, terrified of how it could affect my children. Terrified. It could affect me, by the way. I'm waiting for the knock on the door. I'm waiting for the knock on the door. You don't put yourself out here like this every day. You don't do that and think that you're not. What are you going to do? The churches have let us down. Our Republican leaders have let us down. People are using old techniques and saying, man, look, we need to, it is a long haul. There's no doubt about it. There's a dynamic of this that is long. On the other hand, just like everything else, the longer that goes, the bigger it has to be because it's going to be solidified. Not only the victory, look at the victory. Look at the idea. Do you even trust elections anymore? Do you even believe anymore that you should vote for president? Do you even believe that? Do you even believe that you ever really have? If you keep using these ideas that made sense in a la-la land, good luck saying, okay, man, 2024, 2028, we're looking ahead, man. I'm looking at guys 18 years old. I think he's going to make a good president one day on the ticket that the beliefs and values and the worldview that we've been advancing now for the last 4 years. Many of us for many, many, many years before. All the while, that very thing is going to be labeled. And look, you say, if it is effectively labeled as this, and it has been in schools, we see videos of teachers in grade schools, high schools, colleges and universities. We see all that over and over and over. That people, those teachers and professors, when they describe us in a certain historical way, in a certain historical context, that you sit there and say, imagine the guy, maybe he's got a good point. Maybe the girl's got a good point. But when she brings up, someplace in Europe during World War II and says, but they had good economics. Good luck with that. They're like, they're going to make the rules of the game. And now we just have to, do the long thing so that we can, get back and we're going to do it. And say, dude, look at the parties that represent those values. Go look and see how many votes they get. Because once you've been deemed that, believe me, once you've been deemed anything by these groups like Southern Poverty Law Center, the ADL, ACLU, anytime these groups do that, guess what? Good luck again. Good luck. Ain't that quaint? It's an uphill battle. And you don't have the mechanism of control, and you're living in that freaky deek world where it's like, what, Mr. Smith goes to Washington? You think that's real? You think that's feasible now? I'm just going to go, I got a good idea. Derp, derp, derp. It doesn't work that way. It never did. You sit there and you say, man, okay, well, what about Rosa Parks? And you're like, dude, not even that worked that way. What about Martin Luther King Jr.? That didn't work that way. None of that stuff worked that way. Nobody just showed up and said, I have a truth. Believe me, I'm just Rando Joe, and I'm walking into the power structure with a bunch of millionaires with nuclear weapons at their disposal, and I'm going to come in and because what I say is really good, and what I say is traditional and everything else. Dude, it's fake. It's fake. So when you come up with ideas, you start proposing that, I'm like, okay, that's on the back burner. That's a good idea. But we have to make sure that we aren't tarred and feathered and arrested and everything else and maligned in such a way, not only in law, but also in the history books, in such a way that we'll even be able to do that. And that we won't have to go to re-education camps instead. Because look at the long haul, even for the Civil War. Look at the long haul for that. Reconstruction. You can even change the meaning. Do you think for a moment that the Dukes of Hazzard, that when the Dukes of Hazzard got together and they had the General Lee, do you think that they had that on the top of their card because they wanted to enslave a bunch of black people? You could change the meaning of it. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because you know what that's compared to. And you saw what happened with that. Try to run on that platform. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? No more faking. No more of this. Douglas Murray, he's decent on some stuff. Why the categories and distinctions? Why not just commit to help everyone who is struggling, irrespective of what race or sex they are? That's good. That's true. Hey, look, I agree with you, man, right? At the same time, you're not understanding where we are in this battle. You're not understanding that. Okay? The fact that Joe Biden, this is the one where Joe Biden, he goes and he's like, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do that and we're gonna do this, and everybody that he mentions it for, every single person, you go, there's like one group, somehow you got all the groups, they're all touched on, right? They're all touched on. And there's like one group that's not mentioned somehow. Somehow this group is out, not part of that message. And you go, well, what group is that? I think we know what group that is, guys. I think we know what group that is. If you are something like, I don't know, a white heterosexual cishet, right? Christian male. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. No, you aren't part of that agenda. So he comes in. Why not just say that, man? Joe Biden's willing to say what he's saying. Why don't you say it back? And say, dude, what's wrong with you, man? Why are you so prejudicial against white dudes who are heterosexual, who aren't going to go into, with other dudes and crap? What the heck? Or cutting off Winky. What is your problem, dude? Call it like it is. Stop playing pussyfoot around, dude. Stop it, man. No more tiddlywinks with these people. You can't. Because we got this. This is able to go on. Tucker, he quoted, this is the person who's going to be leading Joe Biden's civil rights division. Here's what she said. Melanin endows blacks with greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities. Something which cannot be measured based on Eurocentric standards. That's that whole African science crap. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the video where the girl is like, that science itself, the idea of empiricism is itself a white modality. And that's what the National Museum of African American History and Culture was saying too. Remember, I used to talk about that. I showed you the panels. This is right here. It is making its way into our institutions at the highest level of someone who's supposed to be overseeing civil rights. What are we now? What are we now? If black people have greater mental, physical, and spiritual abilities, if that's just the case, there's a lot of explaining to do. And is it going to change the power dynamic? Like, are we actually the victims? Are we the ones who maybe are oppressed? Have people been getting it wrong all along? It's cuckoo land, man. But that African science crap, the girl up in the debate up in Canada, sitting there and saying that African science, and people said, what does that mean? And she goes, well, in Africa, we have witch doctors that are able to dip their finger into a puddle and strike somebody on the other side of the continent with lightning. How do you explain that, Mr. White Science Guy? Cuckoo, cuckoo. Somebody basically did that. They said, we don't have to, it's fake. Got reprimanded. Right now, this lady is basing it off of this. You can't measure it. Well, then how are you measuring it? We got witch doctors, man. Wow, dude. Wow, brother. Okay, I hear ya. Sister. Ban us. Get us fired from our jobs. Get us evicted. Beat up MAGA people. Riot for 6 months. Force feed anti-white propaganda. Stolen election. And at the end of the day, you're going to blame a bunch of other people for supposedly declaring a war. But what do we do? This is the end. I'm going to just give practical applications. Say, look, it's where we are. You got to get out of the rut. The impractical but indisputable rise of retro computing. We talked about this recently, about the idea, and we're going to talk about it more. Getting yourself disconnected in certain ways. You know, it's so convenient, isn't it, to use a GPS? You just punch the number in. Weren't those old maps, weren't they a little bit annoying? But if you're really honest with yourself, how often did you truly get lost, and how much of an inconvenience has it been over the course of your life? Maps might be a good idea. Paper maps. I have one of those getting disconnected from major video game sources that connect to the internet. Instead, buying, why not? When I was a kid, I loved those Tiger games. Remember that? Little Tiger devices? You sit there and you're playing football and it's a little red dot on a screen. And you say, man, it was amusing. That's what games are, right? You're playing checkers. Don't give me a break. They're like, no, but that's not, Madden. And you're like, I know. We're also playing checkers, dude. We're also playing tic-tac-toe. You have to put games in their priority. How about the idea? Word processors. How about the idea of writing mail to somebody? How about the idea? How about the idea? I have an Alpha Smart. They used to use those for kids with disabilities and stuff. And what it is, like a keyboard is a word processor, essentially. Now you can plug it into a computer, and when you plug it in, you can share the file, and it will share the whole thing. But it's actually quite dynamic. It's an amazing device, and you can get them on the cheap. But you're not connected to the internet. You're not distracted by all the things that glitter and glow in your eyes. You got to remember, though, what they took from you. You got to say, some things are worth bringing back, some things. And some things are worth taking away. I know this is a joke, but this is a great point. To avoid tech censorship, the Babylon Bee announces innovative new print edition. Facing unprecedented efforts from big tech to silence their infallible reporting, the Babylon Bee has announced an innovative new format known as print. It's true. And you sit there and you say, what are we doing? Do we even subscribe to magazines anymore? Are people making them? And if they're not, why don't we have a renaissance of this? Why don't we bring it back? Why don't we make it better than before? I think one of the reasons why you had the demise of it was because of the commercialization in there. And because of the emphasis all the time on pictures. That's debatable. But to sit there and to teach that and basically say, and a lot of people say, well, that's just too hard. And you say, part of the reason why you're finding it hard is because you're thinking within the framework of someone whose brain has been dramatically impacted by bleep, bloop, blop. Bleep, 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 bloop, 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 blop, 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 bloop, bloop, bloop. You're impacted by that. The mere existence of that. It's a reservation, like people who say, I don't want to stop smoking. I know what that's like. I did those reservations, like, when I'm done, with the bottle of e-liquid, I'll get through that and then I'll quit. I know what it's like. We need to be willing to walk away from some people. Now, I don't know what Mark Levin's going to do, or Ben Shapiro, or Dan Bongino. I'm not entirely sure, but I know the Cumulus Media has told its on-air personalities to stop suggesting that the election was, something happened to that, some Hamburglar going on, or face termination immediately. What are they going to do? What are you willing to accept? How about this? This is one. Is pornography draining men's manhood? Over at Owen Schroyer. Owen Schroyer is probably a decent dude. He's good on a lot of stuff. But he sat there and was talking about, pornography, and he's talking about, pleasuring oneself and stuff. He's talking about that. And his mindset was wrapping it up in the world of free market. We have a free market. People are able to do what they want to do. Blah, blah, blah. The idea of sin, just zero. Toast. The idea of mortal sin, probably not even on the radar. Bless his heart. I mean, I've supported them for a long time. But I'm looking and saying, is that person, if they're sitting there and they're saying, well, you have the freedom if you want to just go and, wank a wank all day long, you want to go ahead and do that, that's perfectly fine. Now, I'm not saying, let's go in with the police and say, what are you doing? At the same time, the idea that it's sin, the idea, if these people, I got rid of Tim Pool on Twitter yesterday and Mike Cernovich yesterday. Got him out. Don't need them, man. What are they actually contributing? Because at this point, I don't have time for the troll meisters and stuff and the people who are just reacting to whatever, and they're not able to put together some kind of a plan and format that says, given the situation where we are, this is what is demanded of us. These are the actions that are actually necessary. Not just that we could do it, not just that we ought to do it, but that we must. And we need to realize we're going to lose out. We're going to get deplatformed. We're going to have all sorts of stuff, man. These videos might just drop like flies, dude. It might happen. But I look at it and I say, man, it's at this place where it's like, this might actually be good. It will get us around other people. Right now, we're all separated. These individuals know how to community organize. They're technocratic too, so they don't mind. They don't care about community as much as the concept of it. So they're like, oh, yeah, so we're on Zoom? Okay, I got it. We're connecting in this way. And so, and they're already in power anyway, but we're separated all over the place. And I get the idea of little platoons, but sometimes those little platoons need to be able to work together in a big platoon. To get back to simple things like read a freaking book. Read, man. You got to read a book. And I like that it's black and white, and then they color it. I know that the debate over that and how we update these things. But at the same time, I sit there and say, look, the past and in the present. That we can do this. There's no reason why our kids should not be reading books. There's no reason why our kids should be sitting there all day long playing Minecraft, video games, and the kids who want to be professional YouTubers and professional gamers and stuff. That's the new basketball, man. And it's worse because there's more kids playing games than we're playing basketball. And the likelihood that you're going to have a professional career playing basketball is like, what, 1 in a million? What are the odds of that? And it's going to be even less when it comes to people who are professional gamers. We got to get to work. We got to work out. In fact, I like that Christopher Warner over at WorkFit. If you haven't liked WorkFit, go check him out right now. It's one word. He says, anyone else feel like this? The world, me. You want to go work out? Yes. And in fact, I'm doing that. This is the 50-day challenge I mentioned yesterday as we're wrapping up. Monday, 50 push-ups. Tuesday, 50 sit-ups. Wednesday, 50 lunges. Thursday, 50 dive bombers. Friday, 50 leg raises. Saturday, 50 squats. Sunday, nothing. Take a day off. Now, maybe you're saying, do some kind of exercise, something to get your heart up, whatever. And he says you can change these up. These are just suggestions. The 50 time a day challenge. I'm going to start doing it. So what is today? Wednesday. 50 lunges. Got you, bud. I got you, Christopher. And if you guys haven't followed WorkFit, make sure to go do it. Get the children outside. Children don't ever talk about remembering their best days of television. Ignore the beast system. Go outside. Adults, too. Congratulate people who are putting through, they're giving up a lot, okay? Because, I thought I had a picture of it. No, I don't. Because people like Milo Yiannopoulos, he has avoided sodomy now for, I think it's like 210 days. And it's one of those things, man, that's an extremely, anybody who knows Milo, it's a hard thing. I remember watching him on Church Militant, and he was like at the point of tears because he thought there's no way he could ever do that, to be celibate. And to say, because he's like, I'm not into women. And it was so great that Michael Voris was talking to him because he understands that. And so to say Michael Voris and friends at Church Militant for the beautiful calendar, putting up in my office now, you need to be there for the people who are making those strides. Those people who've been deemed dangerous. Those people who have been marginalized. Those people who have been cast aside, that have been censored, deplatformed, canceled, depersoned. And especially when, even in light of all of that, they keep pushing forward. We need to help them. We need to join forces with them, and we need to congratulate them when they do it. So, dude, I mean it. People would say, well, he's only gone 210 days. And I'd ask a lot of those people to say that and say, have you gone 210 days without whacking off? And I'm not trying to equate at the same time. I'm saying, look, from my worldview, there's some mortal sins happening here. Dogma is the borders that safeguard the state of mind from foreign occupation. The dogmatic have executive power and decides who comes and who goes from theirs. We need to get back to that place where we're going back to fundamentals, that we're going back to essentials, those things that are dogmatic. And we say, this right here, we cannot move. And I'll end with this to say, because I'm pretty sure that's the end anyway, and that we need to ever increasing, expanding the followers of Jesus Christ. Okay, so that's just true. Now, here is the thing, is that I love that one, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and move this up a little bit. Oh, no. Hold on a second. No. Okay, there we go. I'm going to move that up. So I was watching Fiddler on the Roof. Okay? I was watching Fiddler on the Roof. And the dad, he's sitting there, and it's funny because he goes through all of these scenarios. The first daughter, they make a pact, they make an agreement to get married. She goes outside of the tradition of the matchmaker. She agreed, and it made him look like a fool because he made a deal with the butcher. Okay? Everybody else is like a vision. It's all, they're down, man. They celebrated, they danced, they drank. It was locked in. But at the end of that day, when he's processing on this hand, on that hand, and he's kind of balancing it out, he sits there and says, it's okay, they love each other. Then the second daughter, she's doing the same thing. She wants to marry this guy, and instead of, the difference is that they come and they don't ask for his permission, they ask for his blessing. They say, we're not asking your permission. We're asking you to bless it. And he, of course, he's upset. And it pauses, and he's got that internal dialogue thing going on. You see them off in the distance, and he's off, thinking on the one hand, on the other hand. And at the end of the day, he was okay with it. He said, look, he didn't like it, but that was okay still. They wanted his blessing. They didn't just go off and elope. But then the third daughter, she not only elopes, she ends up getting married to someone who is Eastern Orthodox. And for those, if you don't know Fiddler on the Roof, I'm telling you, you have to watch it. But she marries someone, she's Jewish. The family's Jewish. And they marry out, she marries outside the faith. She runs away from the house. And in fact, it was weird because she actually, I think, asked for permission. The only one asked for permission. He didn't give it. And he said, I don't even want you to see that boy again. They ran off. They get married. Now, I'm bringing this up because the principle of his internal dialogue was powerful, and it applies to us here. And that is this, that when they came and said, look, I want to get married, and she wanted the permission, that he sat there and he was doing the, thinking it through kind of thing. Or she'd already gotten married, I think. She was coming to say, look, I want to talk to you about this, Papa. And he puts the cart down, he turns around, he's processing this, he's thinking it through. And he's doing on the one hand this, on the one hand that. On the one hand, I could betray my faith and my people. And he pauses and he says, but on the other hand, then he pauses again, and you knew it was coming. And he says, no, there is no other hand. And it was powerful because he had to turn his back and walk away. There is a level, there is a place. There are things that you just can't budge on. You got to turn your back. And sometimes you got to fight. And that takes on all different forms. I'm a pretty pacifistic guy. I don't get in fights. I don't believe, I think there's a handful of reasons to justify that. But it's time for some serious conversation about what do we do? What are the ways that we can fight for ourselves, for our family, for our faith? What are those things for the traditions that we have, for the republic that we love? Because what we're seeing now is not a continuation of that. It's not a continuity of that, a development of that. Oh, no. It's a great reset. A great reset is a great discontinuity. A great reset is a great discontinuity. And that's where we are. So I'm going to go ahead and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for tuning in. And remember, if you've commented throughout the show, we're going to go and we're going to take screenshots of that. I'm going to go and make a video, and it will be posted later on this evening. I promise I'll try not to do that too late. Okay, but we focus only on comments, and you can comment on anything you want. It didn't have to be part of the show. It could be anything you are interested in talking about. I'm not promising that we're going to get to all of them, but the ones that are pulled out, that are selected, if it was phrased good, is a good question, things like that. If you go ahead and you put that out there, we're going to go through each and every one of these. We're going to pull out, however many we're going to do. And normally it's about a 40-minute long video. You can see part 1 and part 2 of that. You can see on paleocratdiaries.com right now. And so go check it out. And let me make sure later. Maybe tomorrow. So you can go check that out right now and watch both of those. We call it the post-show Q&A super show. That's what we call it. The post-show Q&A super show. And it's awesome. And we have a really good time. And so make sure, post those comments. You can post away right now. We have a couple minutes left as the ending credits come. And so let me go ahead and call the family real quick. I'm not sure if the kids are sleeping. I don't know if they're sleeping. If they are, then it's just going to be me. And that's okay. I hope you guys don't mind that. But I'm going to give them a minute to come on down. Make sure, of course, also to check out the store that we've got. Okay, the store that we've got, you can find. We're going to add the store link at the website. So it will say store. We're going to make it easy. Store. And we're going to change connect to contact. Just simple things, little stuff. We're going to change it up. It's going to get a facelift here. And so it's going to be a really great time. There's a little Lucian. And so it's going to be a really great time. And, but right now, if you go to the website right now, then what you'll find is a blog. So there's the 3 most recent posts. 2 of them have to do, 2 of them have to do with the post-show Q&A super show. 1 of them has to do with our new store. If you click on any of the pictures in there or the links in there, you'll be able to see all the different items. There's all different kinds, different colors, different sizes, all that stuff. You can find all of that there. So, all right, now that Louis is here. Now that Louis is here, we got to go over to Maine. Hold on a second. No, can't do that. I don't know why that happened. Where's my... Oh, no, I don't have to go to Maine. I got to go to split screen. All right. Look at little Lou. Look at little Lou, man. Yeah, you waving over there, buddy? I want to thank you all for tuning in. I love you guys. I love you. Pray for me. Pray for the family. Pray for the wolf pack. We love you guys, and we know that you love us too. Check out paleocratdiaries.com. For interviews, speeches, other inquiries, you can contact paleocratdiaries@gmail.com, of course. Check out my work. You have to do it. Paleo Cheese Podcast on YouTube and Meaning of Catholic on YouTube. Also, if you want to see some of my written work, it's been a while, but over at Meaning of Catholic, you can see some of my articles that I've done. The To Live and Die Beneath the Waves, as well as The Blinding Light of Darkness. We're going to have a lot more where that came from. And Holy Faith Media now has podcasts of this show. I should have mentioned it earlier. Has podcasts of the show. So go to the website for Holy Faith Media and check out that podcast today if you want to listen on audio. And until next time, as we do each and every day, never give up. Keep on smiling. And memento mori. Oh, buddy. If I don't talk into microphones, I don't make that mad cash. Making all that money. Making that mad loot, right?
Mind control.
So we see the minority elite imposing their ideology on an unwilling and resentful populace. This causes a backlash. People get ticked off. The left is working long and hard to make us feel as if we've done something wrong. Worse yet, that we are the problem. Don't let people just rip on your heritage. Don't let people just rip on your traditions. Don't let people rip on your heroes. Stand up for what you believe, what made you who you are. So unless this disenfranchised majority begins standing up for what they believe in their heart of hearts to be true, I think we'd be left with nothing more than a dirge and maybe a funeral procession.